as part of the software development life cycle, like we have like in the development life cycle, we have requirements gathering phase, we have design phase, we have a development phase, and then we have testing phase. That means if a particular software has to be developed, first it will initiate with the requirements, like understanding all the requirements of what needs to be done,
Mm.
and then the design phase will get started, and then after that the development will be taken care, and then followed by testing. So as part of software testing, we have the functional testing and the non-functional testing. Okay, so functional testing is all about testing the functionality of the application. So it primarily focuses on the core functionality aspect. Okay, so for example, mm, not from any software perspective, but in general, if you see, let's take an example of a lift. For example, you are on the ground floor. Now if you want to go to third floor, you go inside the lift and press 3, right? Third 3 button. So if you press 3, that means you should be going to third floor. I mean, the lift should be um, going to third floor. That means the functionality is working fine. That means we are testing the functionality. So if I want to go to fourth floor, I just press 4 and I'll see whether it is going to fourth floor or not. Okay. So similarly, like with respect to application, if I ask you to test login for any of the application, so what would you generally do? Generally, you launch the application, you enter some valid username and valid password, and then you verify whether the user is able to log in successfully or not, right? That's just an example of functional testing. Okay, so here specifically with respect to functional automation, we use some of the tools like Selenium, UFT, etc. Okay, then what is non-functional testing over here? No, non-functional testing primarily focuses on like aspects like performance, security, usability, etc. Now, we as a performance testers, we are primarily focused on performance aspect. So, what do you mean by performance? So, if you take the same example of the lift, what we have discussed a few minutes ago, like if I go to the go inside the lift and press 3, okay. So it's not about it's not about whether it is going to third floor or not. It's about how fast it is going to third floor, okay, or how much time it is taking to go to third floor, okay. So that is testing the performance aspect, okay. And generally, when you talk about the lift, it has some capacity, right? Let's say when you go inside the lift, it will be written like max capacity is 10 people, 8 people, something like that. Now, if all 10 people are in the lift, then if you press 3, then how much time it is taking to go to third floor, or how fast it is going to go to third floor. Okay, that is important for us from performance testing perspective. Okay, so as same thing with respect to the software application. Let's again take the example of login. Now, generally we launch the application, you enter some username and password, and you click on login button, right? Now, no, performance tester primarily focuses on how fast the user is able to navigate to home page. Like once the user enters username and password and clicks submit button, so how fast the user is able to navigate to home page, or how fast the user is able to navigate from one page to another page is what a performance tester will focus. Okay, so the tools that we have in market are like LoadRunner, JMeter, Gatling, NeoLoad. There are so many tools available in the market, but most widely used tools are LoadRunner and JMeter. Okay, the market share for these two tools will almost comprise of like 80% approximately. Okay, like both of these. So LoadRunner is licensed tool, whereas JMeter is open source. Okay, so this is a primary difference between functional testing and non-functional testing. So we, as part of this course, will focus on this, and especially this particular tool, LoadRunner. Okay. Now you might get a doubt like why performance testing is important, or for what reason we need to do, how is it going to impact the business, right? So for that, let me explain you with this particular slide. So if you see this point here, if performance testing is not conducted, then applications might face problems like slowness, pages loading forever, inconsistency, and definitely it will result in business loss. I'm not sure if you remember in the year 2013 or 14, there was, I mean, one of the e-commerce application, they introduced the big sale for the first time. Okay, I'm not sure like how many of you remember. I think it's in 2013, 12, 13, 14, sometime at that point of time. So they announced a big sale for the first time. So what happened on that particular day? Let's say the big sale was about to start at 12 p.m. So what happened exactly at 12 p.m. is like because it's a big sale announced for the first time. Normally, obviously, curiosity will be more, right? So more people will log in to see what exactly are the offers and what exactly is that big sale. So many people logged in or access that e-commerce application. So suddenly what happened? The application crashed. So what does that mean? That means that even the application team, they didn't expect that these many users will log in, on that particular day. So beyond their capacity, the number of users logged in, and what happened? The server was not able to, the application was not able to withstand the load. The load means the number of users, and then it crashed. And then after that, till now, I haven't seen any e-commerce application getting crashed mostly on big sales, because from then onwards they started taking care of all these performance issues. They before they go announce big sale, they check whether their application is able to withstand these many number of users, like 10,000, 20,000, 1 lakh users, 2 lakh users, like that. Okay, just giving an example. So performance testing is very very important. If see, and one more thing, like if the user is not satisfied with the performance of an application, definitely there is a chance that the users might shift or switch to another application of with similar features, right? For example, like you have an email. um, let's say you want to you want to add some attachments, and then you want to send an email, but when you try to add an attachment, it is taking so much time. Okay, that's if it's happening once or twice, that's fine, but if it's happening intermittently, uh, so what could happen? The user might not be satisfied with the email service provider, and the user might switch to another email service provider, obviously, right? Same thing with gaming also. If you're installing any application in mobile, let's say gaming and all, if you keep playing the games and if the mobile screen freezes, or if it loads forever, okay, then and if it happens intermittently, what will happen? We stop using that application, we switch to another application or game which has similar features or similar options, right? So that means the there is a direct loss in terms of business, in terms of users, in terms of business, which will obviously affect the revenue as well, right? So performance testing is very very important, that every application will have to uh, go through this performance testing phase, and then if they feel that the application will be able to withstand the expected number of users, then only they will deploy it into production. That means then only they will go live. That means they will allow the real users to access the application. Okay, so this point is very very important. Okay, I mean, if you are a beginner in performance testing, like 2 years, 3 years also, this is one of the possible question also. They might ask you, okay, what happens if I don't do performance testing? What will happen? Who cares? Like, if they ask you some questions like that, just to test what exactly you know about performance testing, or what are the consequences if you're not doing the performance testing, then this point will be helpful in answering that question as well. Okay, and the first point is also very clear. If you see, the goal of performance tester is to find performance bottlenecks rather than finding functional bugs. Functional bugs means functional defects. So here also again, bottleneck means issues only. Okay, it's not something new, but the terminology that we use is bottleneck. If someone is asking you like what are bottlenecks that you identified as part of your previous projects, then you should understand that they were asking about the performance issues that we identified as part of our test performance testing. Okay, so why performance testing is very important? It's very clear. Hope it is very clear as of now, right? So okay, so same thing. Now, when it comes to software application, okay, when it comes to software application, uh, like I told you, right, in the example of the lift, I told you, right, instead of one user, uh, what if there is max capacity in the lift and then they press three button and then we are analyzing the performance of the lift. That means how much time it is taking to go to third floor with all the capacity, with full capacity of the lift. Similarly, with respect to the software application that we will be testing. So what is the max number of users that the application might support? Okay, so keeping that in mind, we'll be doing the performance testing for that application. For example, let's say I'm doing a performance testing for one banking application. Now banking client will say that, hey, for my application, I expect that approximately 1,000 users will log in at any point of time and they perform various actions like they transfer money, they download statement, they pay credit card bill, whatever they do. So what we have to do as part of performance testing, we have to go ahead and do the performance testing with 1,000 users, like according to the client requirement. Okay, so we'll discuss further. I just want you to understand the core definition of performance testing. I mean, the core difference between functional testing and performance testing. So performance tester will primarily focus on the speed of the application, mostly like how fast is the application responding, how fast the pages are loading, how fast the user is able to navigate from one page to another page, and so on. Okay, so hope you got a generic definition. I mean, not we didn't discuss any textbook definition, guys. Okay, I just want to make you understand the generic definition of a performance testing. We are not going to discuss any textbook definitions because in interviews also they are not going to ask you any textbook definitions. They'll try to understand. They'll try to uh, you know they'll try to ask you questions in a more generic way to analyze the knowledge. Okay, the knowledge at the concept level. Okay. So, okay. So here, hope hope you guys understood at least a bit of what is performance testing. I can take 1 minute pause here because, of course, we have so many things to discuss. It's 8:20, so I'll just take 1 minute pause. I request you to ask questions if you have any as of now. So, did you guys understand, or did you guys get a basic idea of what is performance testing at least? Okay, okay. So let's move ahead and discuss about this load runner architecture, guys. I mean, there are many tools in the market when it comes to performance testing. So it could be load runner, JMeter, NeoLoad, Gatling, and so on. As I said, the most widely used tools in the market are load runner and JMeter. So JMeter is open source, load runner is licensed. Okay. Now, what is a common question that you are getting now? No, I'm just asking you, like, what is the next question that you are thinking of? Can anyone tell me, like, what is the next question that you have in your mind now? When I say there are many tools in the market, and I said like LoadRunner and JMeter are most widely used tools, then what is that you are thinking of now? The most common question that generally you know they ask is, let me check. There is some, okay, then some messages in with me. Let me 1 second. There are some messages, private messages. 1 second. Okay. Yes, Asif, thank you. Yes. Okay. So the question that you guys might get is, like, which tool is good, or which tool is better, or like what should I do? Should I go with LoadRunner or should I go with JMeter? These are most possible, okay, frequently asked questions actually in every demo, obviously. So the thing is, both tools are good actually in their own way. Even though one is licensed, one is open source. LoadRunner is licensed by owned by Micro Focus as of now, and the advantage is, like, I mean, that this tool LoadRunner is there since ages, so many years. It's been there so many years. Okay, like, now it's a benchmark tool in the market, I can say for sure, because first reason is it's there since ages. Second reason is this is the only tool in the market which supports wide variety of protocols. I'll tell you what is protocol later, but it is the only tool in the market which will support more number of tools than any other tool in the market. Number two. Number three, because it is licensed, the clients who are using this product will always get continuous support from Micro Focus for all the issues they face, even if they are unable to resolve it. And especially when the clients have projects, um, I mean, with new technologies. For example, last year or something like that, we used LoadRunner to test MongoDB, because MongoDB is something new, right? I mean, it's there, but most frequently, recently, in recent days, they started using it mostly. So because even though, I mean, we are testing MongoDB performance for the first time through LoadRunner, so obviously we need some information, right? So because we have purchased a license from Micro Focus, definitely we get a support from them. So they assisted us in developing scripts, documentation, and all those stuff. Okay, that's the kind of support they give us. Okay, when you purchase a license from them. And the security is very important aspect, especially the banking and financial institutions, right? Like, I'm just taking some examples. Okay, for example, like Bank of America, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Citibank, Morgan Stanley, so many are there, so many banks. They prefer to, I mean, generally banks, they give more for priority to data, their data security. So, and I mean, obviously when it's a licensed tool, it's more secure to use their applications with licensed tools, right? Because data will data will not be having, I mean, there will not be any issue with respect to the data breaches and all those things. Now, when it comes to open source, right, there is a chance that, with the data can be leaked or something like that. So they don't want to take risk. So that's the reason many banking and financial institutions, they prefer LoadRunner. Okay, I'm not saying they don't use JMeter at all, but they more prefer LoadRunner over JMeter. Okay. Um, Now, when it comes to, of course, this course is about LoadRunner, but I would like to tell a couple of points on JMeter as well. So JMeter is open source. It also supports some of the protocols. Okay, it is also emerging in the recent past with all the wide variety protocol support, and yeah. So both are equally important. Now, if you ask me which one to go with, no, actually, with the current trend, they are asking both the tools. I mean, they are looking for a candidate who has knowledge on both the tools, like both LoadRunner and JMeter. So that doesn't mean that you should learn both at a time. Never do that. So just learn any one of the tool first, complete that, and then learn another one. Because if you try to learn both at a time, you end up learning only 30% of both the tools approximately. Okay, which is not good enough to crack any interviews as well. So complete one tool first and then go for other tool. Okay. So now with uh, okay. So if you have any questions with respect to LoadRunner and JMeter, apart from whatever we have discussed, make a note of it and just we'll discuss at the end in the Q&A. Okay, now coming back to LoadRunner because this is all about LoadRunner course. So let's discuss LoadRunner architecture. So the LoadRunner architecture, I'm going to derive the architecture based on some questions. For example, okay, for example, let's say there is a banking application or in fact any application, but let's take a banking application. Now, um, if I ask you to test, if I ask you to test any banking application with 500 users, that means what I'm trying to explain is when 500 users log in into the bank application and perform various actions, like how the application is responding. Okay. So I want you to test the banking application with 500 users. That means 500 users should log in, right? Now, how do you test this? How do you test this? Will you bring 500 people and give them 500 laptops or 500 desktops, 500 laptops or 500 desktops, and ask them to log in into the bank application and perform some actions like transfer money, download statement, something like that? Is it possible? According to you, is it possible? No, right? So okay, let's say if it is possible. One second. One second, guys. Oh, sorry. Okay. So let's say it is possible. But then if I ask you to test with 1000 users or let's say 5000 users, will you bring 5000 people and ask them and give them 5000 laptops or desktops and ask them to sit at one place and log in? It's not possible, right? So that's the reason we have one component called load generator. Now this component load generator is um, primarily used to simulate virtual users. Okay, so this particular component load generator is primarily used to simulate virtual users. What virtual users do, they simulate the human actions or human behavior or human actions, or basically they mimic the human actions. They mimic human actions like clicking a link or clicking a button, something like that. So because we cannot bring 5000 users and real users, right? We can simulate virtual users using a load generator. Load generator is also a machine, a highly configured machine with some good amount of memory like 16 GB RAM, 32 GB RAM, sorry, basically 32 GB RAM, a good CPU processor like that. Okay, now we know we need not bring real users. I mean, this component can generate users for us. Okay, and those users will mimic human actions. Okay, now generally when we test a banking application, right? So what are the important scenarios you feel like for banking application? Can anyone tell any one of the important scenario for banking application? In scenario means like important feature or important functionality.
Like once we will log in the browser and the particular suppose we will take any one of the ICICI bank. Once we will log in and there once login we will do the some actions like amount transfer.
Yeah,
These are the
good,
actions we will do. After that we will do the logout. We will call this entire thing one scenario.
good. So here, let's say transfer money is one of the important scenario for any banking application, right? So what are the steps? What are the steps what are the steps that we execute or I mean, what are the steps to reproduce? So let's say the user will first launch the application, then user will log into the application, then user will uh, navigate to, let's say, savings account. Okay, then user will select a beneficiary, right? Then user will enter amount, and click transfer, right? User will enter amount and click transfer, then basically log out. These are the possible steps. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? So launch, login, navigate to savings account, select a beneficiary to whom you want to transfer money, and then enter amount and click transfer and then log out. Now, if you want to execute this particular scenario with 500 or 1000 users, what will you do? How will you do it? With 1000 virtual users? Because we anyways have virtual users, right? If I want to execute these transfer money steps, these steps with some 1000 users or 2000 users or 5000 users like that, then how we will do that? So for these steps, we need to generate a script or develop a script which can be executed by all the virtual users probably simultaneously or concurrently. Okay, so that means you need a component to develop or generate scripts. Okay, generate scripts for the functionalities, different functionalities that we have to test, right? That particular component is called Vugen. So Vugen is a component which is used to record or generate or develop a script for any specific functionality. Like it could be transfer money or download statement or pay credit card bill or whatever it is. I'm just taking an example of a bank. Otherwise, there are so many. Let's take any e-commerce application like purchase order, cancel order, modify order, window shopping, anything can be like that. Okay, now you have virtual users ready. Now you have, let's say, scripts also ready to execute. Now, what is the next step? Obviously, execution. For execution, whatever the scripts that we developed here, you can upload those scripts into a component called controller or performance center. So these scripts, whatever you develop here, you upload here and then configure the load test, and then you can trigger the execution. Basically, the execution won't happen there, but you trigger the execution there. Okay. Now, when you trigger the execution, like there is another flow, uh, which I will tell you in our upcoming session. Like the files and everything will transfer to load generator machine, and the actual execution will happen here because the virtual users are residing here, right? We are just taking the scripts from here and sending all the scripts to load generator, and from those users will run those scripts in this machine. Okay, and the data will be exchanged to and fro. This data exchange process will be taken care by agent process. There is something called agent process which will take care of it. It acts as a bridge between controller and load generator machine. Okay, now let's say the execution is done. Now you have to analyze the results, obviously, because end of the day, if you want to say whether the application is performing well or not, I mean, it all depends on how it is. It all depends on the results that we are getting, right? So, and results analysis is very, very important. So for that, we have a separate component called analysis. Now, this component is primarily responsible for analyzing the results. So, guys, load generator is for simulating virtual users. Vugen is for recording or generating or developing the script. Controller or performance center is to configure a scenario and trigger the execution. And analysis is for analyzing the results. So all in all, these are the different components of LoadRunner architecture. Okay. Now let's say if I want to develop a script now. Okay, I want to record or develop some sample script. Now tell me which component I have to use.
We use and we need to use.
Obviously, according to the architecture, the component that we use for recording or generating or developing the script is Vuegen. So what we do, so once you install, right, you just search for Vuegen. Okay, it will open and it will display this icon and you can click on it. Okay, the installation and all we'll see later. But whenever you want to record or generate or develop the script, you have to use Vuegen. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to record like only like let's say like 2 or 3 steps for today. Basically, like let's say I'm gonna launch one application, then I'm gonna log into one application, and then I'm gonna log out of the application. Guys. These 3 steps I'll do for some sample application because this is just a demo session, right? So let me open that sample application as well. Hmm, 1 second. So this is a sample application, guys, just for demo purpose. So I'm gonna launch this application like how I have launched it now with this particular URL, and then I'm gonna log in with some username and password. Okay, and then I'm gonna log out. Okay, see login is successful. It is showing welcome, and then I'm gonna log out. So these are the 3 steps that we'll record now, and we'll see how the script is getting recorded, and then how to replay the script. We'll see. Okay, so now I'll go to I'll close this Mozilla not required. I'll, this is how the Vusion screen will appear as soon as you launch it. So here you have a button called File. Okay, I mean in the menu option,
The menu option,
click on File.
click on File.
1 second, guys. Okay, I was getting some echo. Okay, okay. So this is how you get to see the Vusion screen. Now you click on File, and there are different options here. We'll discuss later. So you just click on File and click on New Script and Solution. And here you will see this pop-up window. So you get to see so many protocols. Like that's fine. I mean, when you are working with any web application, right? That means any application which you launch in the browser with HTTP, HTTPS, you have to use this protocol, web HTTP, HTML. I'll tell you what is protocol in tomorrow or day after tomorrow session. So web HTTP, HTML is a protocol that you have to select for any web application by default, and then choose the path, like where exactly you want to save. Let's change the path. Let's create some new folder for 1 second. uh, 1 second, guys. Okay, so let me create one new folder here. Okay, I created one new folder. In this folder, I want to save the script, and that script name, let's say I'm giving it as demo for today. Script name is demo, and the location where I want to save is this particular location. Then click create. So when you click on create, a default script will be created. Blank script will be created with default layout. Okay. So let me close this. So this is how the script, default script will be. A blank or empty script will be there like this. So we'll have to, so many options are there over here. This is where the code will be generated once you record the flow. This is the solution explorer where you have different options to work with, which we'll discuss one by one in our next sessions. For now, what we have to do is I want to record the 3 steps, right? Like launch, login, log off. To record, I can use this icon, or I can click on this menu option and I can click on record also. Like here I have record and then record again. Or you can use shortcut key Control R, Control plus R also. But generally we guys frequently use this record icon, which is a straightforward app. So just click on this record icon, and when you get a pop-up window here. Then ignore this for time being. We'll see, discuss later. See, you have to choose the browser, like which browser you want to use for recording. See, you can use any browser. There is no restriction. You can use Firefox, you can use Edge, or you can use Chrome. Okay. Let's say I'm using Firefox for now. And then here you have to give your project URL, the application that you want to test. That URL you have to give. Let's say the URL is this one, localhost. This one, the application URL which I launched just now. This is the URL I want to launch in this browser. Okay, just 1 second. I'll just quickly go to recording options. I'm not explaining those now, but I'm just checking, like, because generally I keep changing these options frequently as per the requirement. Okay, so now I have given the browser, I've selected the browser, I've given the application URL. I'm not going to select anything as of now in today's session. I'll explain you these things in maybe in 2 days, in 1 or 2 days. So then I'll click on start recording. Just click on start recording. Okay, so when you click on start recording, the Mozilla Firefox browser will launch with the given URL. Whatever the application URL I have given, with that URL, the browser will launch with that particular URL like this. At the same time, you see a movable window over here. Okay, kind of movable window, and then you see there will be some number here which keeps on increasing. Actually, if that number is increasing, it's actually a good sign. That means the tool is able to record the application successfully without any issues. Okay, mostly the number keeps on increasing. Generally, whenever you perform any action on the UI, the number might keep on increasing. Okay, because whatever the actions you perform, for those actions, the tool will capture the backend requests. Okay, backend. Now there are different options over here, like stop recording, pause recording, cancel recording, and comments, checkpoints, and all. We'll see all of them later, but let's discuss these two for today. So this is start recording, insert start recording. This is insert end recording. Okay, basically, whenever you want to perform a step or execute a step on the UI, for that particular step, you need to first insert a transaction and then go ahead and perform the action on the UI. And then once you're done with the action on the UI, then come here and click on end transaction. Then what is the advantage of that is it will assist you in calculating the amount of time it has taken to execute that particular step. Okay, for example, can anyone tell what is the next step that we are going to do? What is the next step that I'm going to execute? What is the next action I'm going to perform on the UI?
Enter the username.
I mean, in a way, it is login, right? The next action that I'm going to perform is login, right? So here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to insert start transaction. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to give a name for it called login, and then click OK. Now, once you click OK, here you see this button getting enabled now, but then don't click it. First, you have to go and perform the action over here, and then come here and click on this particular end transaction. So here, go ahead and enter the username and password and click enter. Now the user logged in successfully, that is login is done. Wait for 5 seconds at least so that the page loads completely, or at the same time you can also check here like when the page is loaded successfully or not. And now you click on this insert end transaction and then select login. Login is done. Now, what about next step? What is the next action that I'm going to perform according to our requirement? According to our requirement, what is the next step that I'm going to perform?
Logout.
Log out, right? So I'll click on insert start transaction again, and then I'll click on log. I'll select logout, and then click OK. Now I'll go ahead and click on sign out button. So there is a sign out button on the left hand side. I'm gonna click it, and then I'm gonna wait for 5 seconds though, and at the same time I'm gonna see whether the page is loaded successfully or not, and then I'm gonna click on this particular logout button. Now we are done with recording. Now I'm going to click on stop recording. Now, as soon as I click on stop recording, the tool will generate the script for the functionality or the steps that I have executed, right? Now it is still generating. One second. Oh, I clicked on stop recording, right? Let me check what happened. Oh, oops. One second, guys. Okay, 6 GB is free. I mean, sometimes my laptop has some memory issues. One second. One second, guys. For some reason, it is not getting. Uh, it's actually because of the memory issue only, mostly. In the recent past, because of this memory issue, it's not getting. One second. Let's wait. Hope it gets recorded. Hope it gets. It should generate the script, by the way. One second. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me go to Task Manager and see like whether it is responding or not due to some memory issues only. I'll clean up the memory, guys, by the way. For the next session, I'll clean up all the unwanted things. So here, it is not using any CPU as of now. Uh, Let me kill this and restart ViewGen once again quickly, and then let's see if it recorded or not. So ideally, it should record, but I didn't see any pop-up like script getting generated or something like that. That's the reason. Let's see. Let me open that if that is already created, right? Let's see if it is generated or not. Otherwise, we can record again. Okay, so this is a script which we created. Oh, it didn't record or what? Um, okay, so let me do one thing. Let me try to close some unwanted things and clean up some memory for this quickly. Okay, let me record again quickly with the help of browser. I'll not, 1 second, let me check this. Okay, let me click on start recording again. So again, you see the browser launched with the given URL. So this time I'm gonna quickly record it, guys. So because you guys already have seen that the way to record, right? So here I'm gonna add a name to it in start transaction, login. I'm gonna click on Jojo and Bean. That's the username and password. Wait for 5 seconds and then start new transaction logout. Then click on logout and then probably wait for 5 seconds again. Then logout and then stop recording. Let's see. Hopefully this time it should get recorded. So yeah, I mean the pop-up, it should be like this, like it is generating the script like you see. I don't know what happened previously, but maybe I clicked some other button or I don't know. Okay. So here, if you click on the action, so this is how the code got generated. Okay. Hardly some 60, 50, 60 lines of code, but I want you to understand a couple of things here very quickly. So if you see in line number 33, it says LR start transaction login. So how is it coming up here? The reason is when I was recording the script, there was a movable window where I clicked on insert start transaction button, right? And I have given a name called login. For that reason, this piece of code got generated. If you see line number 52, LR underscore end underscore transaction and then login, we are ending here. So that means after performing the action, I clicked on end transaction and I ended login, right? On the movable window. Because of that, this piece of code got generated. Now you have a LR start transaction, you have LR start transaction and you have LR end transaction. In between, you have this piece of code. That means this piece of code belongs to login. If you want, you can check. We have passed username Jojo and value Bean like that. Now, if you see line number 54, LR start transaction logout, right? LR start transaction logout. How is this coming up? Because on the mobile window, I clicked on insert start transaction. I have added logout, right? That's the reason this piece of code got generated. And you see line number 66, LR end transaction logout. That means, uh, I mean, after performing the action, I ended the transaction, right? So that's the reason this piece of code got generated. And whatever the code you have between LR start transaction logout and LR end transaction logout, this piece of code belongs to logout. Now this is logout, right, from here to here, and then here you see login. Can anyone tell what this piece of code is? Ignore this, by the way, ignore this, not required. Can anyone tell what this piece of code is by any chance? Can you any guess like what this piece of code is all about?
A launch.
Obviously launch, because before login, what did we do? We launched the application, right? But
Yeah.
what is the difference? Here, if you see for this request, there is no LR start transaction and LR end transaction. Did you guys notice that? There is no LR start transaction and there is no LR end transaction for that. The reason is even before the mobile window came up, already the application was launched. Yes or no? For example, when I click on this record option, see, when I click on start recording, I'm getting a mobile window. At the same time, I'm also seeing the browser already open with the given URL. I mean, even before I click on insert start transaction, the application is already launched. You got it? That's the reason you don't have LR start transaction for launch. However, you can add it manually. LR underscore start underscore transaction. Like this you can add. Okay. And then you give launch for this. Give a name for this launch. Now, can anyone tell after which line I have to write LR end transaction for this? Because obviously if there is a LR start transaction, there should be LR end transaction for that. Now, after which line I can write that? Any guess?
After the think time,
No, before think time you have to write. Okay, after 31. So here you can write LR underscore end underscore transaction like this you can write. All small letters only, guys. You should not use capital letters. Okay, now here you have to give the same name. You have to give the same name and you have to give there will be something called LR auto which I'll explain later. But what I want to tell you is the whatever the name you are giving here, the same name should be going here. So, okay, now if I replay this, okay, now if I replay this with this particular by clicking on this particular icon, if you see here, now probably I should get some results, some basic results I should get. Let's see what is the information that we are getting. So the basic information that we are getting is, if you see, launch has taken 0.54 seconds. Login has taken 0.388 seconds. Logout has taken 0.359 seconds. That means when I am replaying the script, this request will get executed first, the launch, and when I execute this, I'm getting the response from the application server. I'll tell you what is application server, but from the application, I'm getting response in 0.54 seconds for launch. That means when I use this URL, the page is loading, almost approximately in 0.54 seconds like that. Then login it is taking like 0.388. Logout is taking approximately some like 0.359 like that. So that means you are getting to see like how each transaction is performing. Okay, so hope you got some clarity and idea about the Vuechen component as well. Very important component for on which we'll be working for next probably 3 weeks. In fact, more than that. So very important. Okay, from learning perspective, from interview perspective as well. Okay, so now with that, going back to our agenda. Okay, let me open the course content for you guys. So course content, basically this course is for everyone, guys, for like from basic to advanced for everyone. Okay, it's not only for the guys who are in IT. I mean, anyone from non-IT also can join and master the tool, provided that the person is practicing for at least 1 month. Okay, daily. So now the course basically we start discussing with architecture basics, introduction to performance testing, and then very important concepts from interview point of view, the theoretical concepts of proof of concept, NFR, test plan, workload modeling, and then how do you install LoadRunner, what are the components, what are the features, what are the best scripting practices, transaction names, naming conventions, debugging options, understanding the script and excluding unnecessary requests. Then you have like runtime settings. Okay, so runtime settings is, I mean, these runtime settings will assist you in executing the script. Then you have recording options. Like these recording options will assist you in script recording. Then you have checkpoints. Checkpoints means assertions. If you guys are coming from UFT or Selenium, you might already know what is assertion. The same thing that we call it checkpoints here. In JMeter we call assertions. Here we call checkpoints. Okay. Then a very important question: is coding required to learn LoadRunner or JMeter? In fact, it's it's yes, but very little bit only. Not too much. Hardly like 3-4 sessions for that. So based on the topics that we discuss in those 3-4 sessions, it is more than enough to write your own scripts or develop your own scripts or customize your own scripts. Okay, all very basics like, for example, what is variable, data types, if statements, loops and conditions, select case statements, functions. So basically, these are very common, very basics of any programming language. Okay, if you are completely new to IT, never ever worry about these concepts. Okay, it's very easy to learn, hardly 3-4 sessions max. Then you have some C language inbuilt functions and LoadRunner inbuilt functions and some like how do you write data to file, how do you read data from a file, what are the real-time challenges in scripting that we frequently observe. Then what is correlation? Okay, then what is correlation? A very very important concept. This we'll discuss for 3 to 4 sessions. It is that important that if you don't know how to correlate, then probably you end up you end up not doing any scripting. It's that important. And then you have parameterization, which we'll discuss for 2 3 sessions, 3 sessions, where it's all about passing different sorts of test data to the script. Instead of passing the same test data again and again, passing different sorts of test data. Then you have controller. From till here, the execution, I mean, the learning scripting will be completed mostly. I'll tell you one more point after next slide. But after that, you will discuss about controller, like how to create scenarios, how do you, what are different types of scenarios you create, executing a load test, runtime settings, etc., SLAs. And then analysis, how do you analyze the results? What are the different metrics that you analyze? What are the different graphs that you monitor? Okay. Then finally, you have like analyzing the results and providing observations, drafting email to with all observations to your client, interview question and answers, and then scripting practice on multiple applications. Because the more scripting, the more applications you practice, the more challenges you face, the more uh, you learn for sure. Okay, and then you have something called virtual table server. Okay, very very important from interview perspective as well. So like I said, we are not going to work only on sample application, but we are also going to discuss about, sorry, we are also going to work on various other applications as well, including our own application, Isha Training Solutions.com. Then these are all the bonus topics. These topics are added to this course just because my participants needs to know that in the interviews and all those stuff, they are asking way more than LoadRunner and JMeter also. So I want my participants to understand like what exactly they are asking from the interview point of view and what exactly you have to concentrate apart from LoadRunner and JMeter. I've added few sessions for those like APM tools, AppDynamics or Dynatrace. Like for these, I'll take one live session either for AppDynamics or Dynatrace, and then I'll give you one recorded session either for AppDynamics or Dynatrace. Okay, I mean APM tools are very very important nowadays to monitor the application performance. So very 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 important tools, guys. Dynatrace and AppDynamics. Basically, they are APM tools. And then you have I want my participants to know like what is CI/CD Jenkins. I want my participants to have some idea about the CI/CD and how performance testing is related to this. And then you trigger some local scenario from Jenkins. And there is one more protocol that we'll be discussing called True Client. And then I have one session for True Client as well, and I have one session to understand what is thread dumps, what is heap dumps. I have one session to understand like what is load balancer algorithms and connecting to database, and what is this AWR report and how do you find bottlenecks. And also not recorded sessions. Basically, we'll take live sessions of the web services also. The rest is the web services. Not everything is UI, right? Sometimes we test API services, we test web services. Okay. So like that uh, we are going to add all of this into our course. Okay, so this is the course content, guys. So now I'm opening the session for Q&A. So I request you guys to post the questions. You ask the questions, or you can post it in the chat window. Anything is fine.
So I
Hello,
have a
sir.
question. So for bonus topics, you will be showing the recorded session or it will be a live session?
It will be a live session only, except for one or two, like like AppDynamics or Dynatrace. Any one will be live, one will be recorded session. Like
Okay.
AWR report will be recorded session. Remaining everything like will be live sessions only. Like web services will be live session only. Then True Client Protocol will be one live session. Then Dynatrace can be one live session. Then heap dumps and thread dumps analysis will be one live session, right? So Jenkins will be
Okay.
one live session like that.
Okay. Okay.
Jenkins,
Thank you.
yeah, yeah. Anyone else having any questions? Uh, course,
What are the session timings?
yeah,
India
same
time?
time. Yeah, same time, India
Okay.
time, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., Monday to Friday.
Okay.
And if you have any questions, right, I'll be available on WhatsApp. You can reach out to me. I'll ping you after this. After this, I'll ping you in the group. You can reach out to me as well. If you have any further queries related to the course and all the stuff, you can reach out to me. Uh, and then anyone from non-IT and who are interested to join, do let me know, because generally what I do is I generally plan to take one additional session for non-IT guys, just to make them familiar with the terms and terminologies that we use in performance testing, because especially whoever is coming from non-IT, right, they should understand the terms and terminologies, right? So learning the tool is okay, good, but at the same time, if you want to work, you have to understand like how the project works, how you get the requirement, what are the terms and terminologies that that you frequently use, and all those stuff.
Okay, if it is like a long gap, like almost 10 years gap also, will give any like extra session, like,
Yeah, I mean, basically that session is that session is primarily focused for non-IT, but that doesn't mean that only those guys should join. Everyone can join in a way. I mean, that will be for on one weekend, like
okay.
probably first weekend or second weekend in our course. I'll take one session on that.
Like if we miss one class, means will you provide a, like a
Uh,
recording session for that, or like how
yeah,
it
good
will
question. I see daily you will get recorded sessions daily. So that
daily?
session, yeah, that sessions will be there with you for lifetime. Okay, so whenever you want, you can watch it.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay,
Sir, any
sessions will be from Monday to
certification
Friday.
provide?
Sorry.
Any certification you provide?
Yeah, after completion of the course, they will give you the course completion certificate for you. And yeah, one more thing, like um, if you see, like our primary focus was on practicing on multiple applications, like 4 to 5 applications. The reason why we are focusing on practicing on multiple applications is generally, guys, in real time every application will be little bit new, and we might face some new challenges. So the more applications you practice, the more comfortable you will be for with respect to scripting.
So for practicing, you will be giving some homework on a regular
Yes,
basis.
yes.
How that will
So
work?
yeah, so like whenever we practice during our session, right, on that day only I'll give you a task that you can work at your place or at your home. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me in the next session, or you can ping me on WhatsApp one to one.
Okay. Okay.
One more question, because LoadRunner is a
Hmm.
license base, how we are going to get, is there
Yeah, there's
any
a
copy
trial
we
version.
can
Yeah,
install?
there's a trial version for it. Our team will assist you in installing the trial version
Yeah, thank you.
so that you can practice in your laptops. And the trial version will be there. It won't go away, something like that. Basically, with limited number of users, it will be there with you guys.
Like if we want to continue this course from tomorrow, it will start.
Yeah, from tomorrow only it will start. Yeah, mostly it will from tomorrow only. You'll get an update in few minutes, or maybe in couple of hours or so, about the next session and details. But mostly it will be from tomorrow only.
Sure, sure.
Asif, don't worry. I mean, we have a separate session for that, and as I said, this course is for everyone. Like from It is designed in such a way that it will cover all the basic and advanced concepts.
Sir, placement and certification you provide?
No, generally Kumar sir will let you know if there are any openings. But then there is, then you can just reach out to Kumar sir on that. Just ping in the group the same question. Kumar sir will call you and explain. But generally, if there are any openings, generally Kumar sir will let the attendants or the participants know about that so that they can give a try. But apart from that, if you want to know further information, please do reach out to Kumar sir. He is there in the WhatsApp group. Uh, Post your question in the group. He'll definitely call you back, or I'll ask them to call you. Okay. But generally, as I said, if there are any openings, they'll let you know. But it is not guaranteed or something like that.
Certification?
Certificate they'll give you post course completion. They'll give you a certificate for this.
Krishik, how do we handling this rendering things with the load runner in the JMeter as it is when I'm working as a performance tester, I'm
Hmm.
unable to record the whiteboard digital whiteboard activities through the JMeter. Those comes under the rendering things. Do we have
Yeah.
any special?
So JMeter also it will not directly support the browser rendering.
Yeah.
Rather, you have to integrate JMeter with Selenium. So here you have one protocol called True Client, which will take care of browser rendering also.
Okay. Thanks.
Hi,
Okay.
Kushik.
Yeah, tell me.
Kushik, so are we going to cover LRE part or it's not part of our agenda?
Yeah,
Load runner.
LR is also there. Actually, so I mean, the controller and LRE both will be there. So,
Oh,
I mean, depending on the machine's availability. So, in the recent batch, we faced some issue with respect to the machine. So, what I can assure you as of now is, yes, LRE will be there. In worst case, I can give you the recorded playlist of the LRE also. I mean, if there is some issue with the machines, not from our end actually, from the tool side only, there was some issue. Hope it should get rectified. If that is the case, we'll have the live sessions on FLRE also, like 3-4
oh,
sessions. Otherwise, I can give you the previous batch recorded sessions of LRE also, or
yeah,
a
that's fine.
separate playlist actually. So that means actually it has like multiple recorded sessions. So you can go through that, and both are same.
Okay, sure, thanks.
Yeah. So any other questions? No, Asif, offline is not there as of now. So only online. Gayatri, yes. Like what we do is we conduct mock interviews actually after completion of every batch, and also I will share the interview questionnaires. I mean, whatever the questions I personally have noted down with question and answer. So I'll share this document with you. You can actually go ahead and go through this question and answers. Okay, and then attend the interview. Okay. So we have frequent mock interview sessions also, so which will be taken by some other faculty or some other Kumar sir itself. So you can attend those mock interviews. You got my point, right? So that like you'll get you'll be more comfortable in attending the interviews. And do let me know if you are attending any interviews. Like if you let me know at least 2 days before, so I can connect with you for 30 minutes or 1 hour. I can guide you, like how they can ask, what type of questions they might ask you. So I can provide my inputs as well apart from providing these documents. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, perfect. uh yep. So any
Hello,
other
sir.
questions? Yeah, yeah, tell me. Yeah.
Sir, what is the future scope in performance testing?
I told you the slide, right? The one slide that, like, I told you why performance testing is important. I told you, right? Without performance testing, the product will not go live, especially if the product is very important for the client. If they have any performance issues, it will have a direct impact on the business, right? I told you financially also it will have impact. So every client, before deploying or before uh, allowing the real users to access it, they do the performance testing. Now, once the application goes through this performance testing phase, and if it is successful, then only it will go to the real users, the end users.
Okay. So any AI related tool in that?
No, not in the tool, but they are actually slowly implementing now. Only recent partially they started working on it. No features have been added yet completely, but in APM tools like Dynatrace, they started adding, in the recent past they started adding more features, like features in sense like the metrics what they are providing, right? In APM tools like application monitoring tools like Dynatrace, they started using implementing AI technologies. Like for example, they will tell you when a page is loaded, they will tell you from your eyes point of view, like how much time approximately it is taking for the page to load. Like in the back end, they are using the technologies, the AI technologies, but once you see the once you see the Dynatrace tool, you will come to know like how good it is in terms of the look and feel. So there's so many options, features they have added nowadays. So from analysis point of view, from monitoring point of view, AI is more into picture as of now. But from scripting point of view, from execution point of view, not much of AI involved as of now. Probably we might see in future.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other questions?
The timings are like same. This
Uh,
is there any other timings like
no, ma.
before
Only this time, only
this
8
time?
to 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Actually, there will be one evening batch also, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. But that will get started probably after next month, in the
Oh,
next month
okay.
ending or something like that, or probably Jan
Like
also. We don't know. Maybe it can extend to
9
Jan
p.m. like
also.
Indian timings you're saying
Yeah,
or
9
US?
p.m. to 10 p.m. Indian time. Probably it can get started late also, like in the month of Jan also. We don't know because December end, right? For
Yeah,
most
yeah,
of
yeah.
them, it will be holiday session, right? After, because some
Okay.
of the participants will join from on-site also, like US, UK, African, and all. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
I'm
that's
from
the reason.
US,
Yeah.
so I want like different like I have small kids, so that's why I'm asking. Okay, that's okay.
Oh, okay, okay.
Mm,
Then I'll okay.
mm,
Next batch is will be scheduled maybe next month or maybe in the month of Jan starting. So what you can do is you can do one thing.
okay,
You can do one thing like let ping me one to one. I'll tell you one or two options. Like we'll see.
okay. Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. So whether you can register on this batch and you can extend there. We'll see.
Sure. Thank you, thank you.
Okay. And one more thing. Anyways, you are getting recorded sessions, right? So that will give you an option to go through the recorded session again post live session.
Okay.
Perfect.
Oh,
Okay. So hope I answered all your queries. If you still have any further queries, right, please do reach out to me on WhatsApp. If you have any queries related to the payment or anything, please do reach out to Kumar sir. He is also there in the WhatsApp group. I'll just ping you guys right away after this session. Okay. Thanks everyone, and have a great rest of the day.
Yeah, thank you so much, Krishi.
yeah, thank you.